Croatia national football team. The story of a small nation with a giant football heart. Now imagine that this small nation reaches the FIFA World Cup final. Not once. This is the story of Croatia, a team famous for its red and white checkered shirts. A team built on technical brilliance, incredible midfielders, fearless defenders, and a mentality that refuses to surrender. But when the biggest tournament arrives, Croatia has repeatedly shown that football is not always about size. Sometimes it is about heart. Sometimes it is about belief. The score was 1-1 after 90 minutes. Extra time followed. Croatia eventually won on penalties. 2 extra time battles. But the journey was not over. The semi-final against England became one of the most important games in Croatian football history. England scored early. For Croatia, the situation looked dangerous. But the team refused to panic. Ivan Perisic equalized. The match went into extra time. And then came the decisive moment. Mario Mandzukic found the back of the net. Croatia had done it. The country had reached the FIFA World Cup final for the first time in its history. The scenes were unbelievable. In Croatia, streets were filled with fans. Flags covered cities. Millions of people watched their national team prepare for the biggest match in the country's history. The opponent was France. The 2018 World Cup final. The final was played in Moscow. Croatia had reached the final after 3 consecutive knockout matches that required extra time. France, meanwhile, had a powerful squad filled with world-class talent. The match started with intensity. Croatia conceded an own goal, but the team responded. Ivan Perisic equalized. For a moment, Croatia believed. But France eventually took control. A penalty. A powerful attack. And a series of French goals put the match beyond reach. France won 4-2. Croatia had lost the final. But something incredible had happened. A nation of fewer than 4 million people had reached the World Cup final. The players walked away without the trophy. But they returned home as heroes. Luka Modrić was awarded the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. His performances were extraordinary. And for many fans, his story represented everything about Croatia. A player from a small country who had climbed to the highest level of world football. Luka Modrić, the heart of Croatia. To understand Croatia's modern success, you have to understand Luka Modrić. He became the symbol of an entire generation. Modrić was not the biggest player. He was not the strongest. But his intelligence was extraordinary. He could see passes before they existed. He could control the tempo. He could escape pressure. And when his team needed leadership, he stepped forward. His career at club level brought enormous success. But his greatest legacy may be what he achieved with Croatia. He led his country to a World Cup final. And years later, he helped Croatia reach another semi-final. Qatar 2022. Croatia does it again. For years after reaching the final in Russia, Croatia arrived at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Many people believed the golden generation was getting older. Modrić was older. Several key players were approaching the later stages of their careers. But Croatia still had something special. Experience, discipline, and an extraordinary ability to survive difficult matches. Croatia progressed through the group stage and entered the knockout rounds. In the round of 16, Croatia faced Japan. The match finished 1-1. Once again, penalties. And once again, Croatia survived. Then came one of the biggest challenges of the tournament. Brazil, the 5-time world champions. A team packed with attacking talent. Brazil looked like the favorite. The match remained incredibly tight. Many believed the game was over. But Croatia had other ideas. Bruno Petkovic equalized. The match went to penalties. But Croatia's journey finally came to an end. Argentina won 3-0. Croatia would not reach another final. But there was still one more match. The third-place playoff against Morocco. Croatia won 2-1. The country finished third in the world. Think about that. A team that had finished as World Cup runners-up in 2018 had now finished third in 2022. 2 medals in 2 consecutive World Cups. That is an incredible achievement for any nation. For Croatia, it was almost unbelievable. The new generation. Football never stops. Every golden generation eventually changes. The players who carried Croatia to the 2018 final could not play forever. But the next generation began to appear. Players like Josko Gvardiol represented the future. Young, powerful, intelligent, and technically gifted, Gvardiol became one of the most exciting defenders in world football. And the challenge was simple. The answer would require patience. Because replacing legends is never easy. Croatia's unique football identity. What makes Croatia so difficult to defeat? The answer is not one thing. It is a combination of qualities. First, technical ability. They can pass under pressure. They understand space. They can control the tempo. Second, midfield quality. Croatia has repeatedly produced world-class midfielders. From Boban and Prosinecki to Modrić and Rakitic, the country has developed players capable of controlling matches. Third, mentality. This may be Croatia's greatest strength. When the team falls behind, it does not panic. When the opponent scores first, Croatia keeps fighting. That mentality became famous during the 2018 World Cup. Croatia repeatedly found itself in difficult situations, but it kept going and going. They may not always play beautiful football, but they know how to survive. And when the pressure becomes enormous, Croatia often becomes even stronger. The Croatian national team's red and white checkered shirt is more than a football jersey. It has become a symbol of national identity. When Croatia plays, the checkered pattern fills stadiums around the world. Fans wear it proudly. Children dream of wearing it. And players understand the responsibility that comes with it. Football brings people together. It creates memories. It creates heroes. And it gives an entire nation something to believe in. That is why Croatian players often speak about playing for their country as something deeply personal. Croatia's story is one of the most remarkable in modern football. In 1998, the team reached the World Cup semi-finals. 20 years later, Croatia reached the final. For years after that, Croatia finished third. This is not a coincidence. It is the result of a football culture that consistently develops technically gifted players. It is the result of strong coaching. It is the result of players who understand the importance of representing their country. And above all, it is the result of mentality. Croatia has shown the world that a small nation can compete with the biggest football powers. It has shown that population does not determine ambition. It has shown that history can be written by teams that refuse to accept limitations. From Davor Šuker's generation to Luka Modrić's golden era, Croatia has created football history. And now, a new generation must carry that legacy forward. The question is no longer whether Croatia can compete with the world's best. The question is, can the next generation finally bring the biggest trophy home? Can Croatia win its first FIFA World Cup? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Because Croatia is no longer a surprise. It is no longer just an underdog. It is a football nation with a giant heart. A nation that has reached the summit of world football. A nation that has survived the biggest pressure. A nation that has created legends. And a nation that continues to dream. The story of Croatia is not finished. In fact, the next chapter may already be beginning. And somewhere in the future, another generation of Croatian players will walk onto the biggest stage in football. They will look at the red and white shirt. They will remember the heroes who came before them. They will remember 1998. They will remember 2018. They will remember 2022. And they will believe. Because that is what Croatia has always done. It believes. It fights. It survives. And when the world says it is impossible, Croatia simply keeps playing.